2012 NASCAR Nationwide Series race is Sam Hornish Jr. and he drives the number 54 Monster Energy Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing and making his debut in that 54 car. Sam, that's quite a way to start out. Talk about that, and then talk about this form of qualifying. It's the first time you've been out there in this type of qualifying that we have. Just talk about that, and then also about being on the pole.
I'm going to start out with the qualifying because when I watched it at Daytona, it didn't look nearly as hectic as what it felt like today. So I feel like as this continues to evolve and the teams learn a little bit more about what it's going to be like, and this is the first time that it really got to be fully completed at the restrictor plate races, I think it worked out well. It was really about patience, and it came down to the crew chiefs kind of holding us back a little bit, and we let Elliott do most of the heavy lifting as far as picking the line and slowing us down to get us the right runs, and it's going to be something that as they go to Daytona for the next time, that I think that you'll even see some more of that cat and mouse type of games where people are moving around. But I'm really glad that it's 3 sessions, and we almost didn't get the job done. I think we're 21st, 22nd, and 24th there at the end of the first session, but we were 1, 2, 3 after that. So I'm just really proud of the opportunity that I'm getting here in the Monster Energy car, and first time working with the guys from Joe Gibbs Racing. It comes at a track where it's a little bit more of a long weekend, and I get to talk to Adam Stevens and sit down and talk to Elliott and Bubba a little bit about things that they're seeing out there, as opposed to if we were to jump in at Bristol or something like that. So while it's been a long time to wait to get here to Talladega, it's been really great for me that it happens at this track to give us that opportunity, and just a lot of fun. And it's the last time I ran the last time I qualified a car, I sat on the pole. So I keep the streak alive at least this weekend.
Good job there, Sam. This is your 6th Nationwide Series pole, your first pole obviously in 214, and first pole in 4 attempts at Talladega. So congratulations. We'll take questions now for our pole sitter. We'll go with Stan, and then Bob, and then Al.
Stan Creekmore with RPMTonight.com. Sam, how long after that first session did it take for them to say to you, don't worry, we can do a lot better than that?
I wasn't worried about it from the fact of whether or not the cars had the speed, but it's all about timing. And I think we had a great run to be 1, 2, 3 in that first session too. And we had a car that moved either down or up right in front of Elliott. And I mean, I was on the brakes pretty hard to not get in the back of him. And I'm sure Bubba was on it about twice as hard trying not to, because you just don't expect somebody when you have that kind of a closing rate to make that kind of a move on you. And the same thing happened to me in the race last year. We ran up towards the front, led a whole bunch of laps, got down towards the end after the last pit stop, and we were working our way back up to the front, and somebody decided that they were going to make me push them at the wrong time. And I was on the brakes, but in the tandem draft, just because you're on the brakes doesn't mean you're going to slow down. So this is obviously a lot better as far as having a little bit more control over your own car, and either not being right up somebody's bumper or being pushed to the point where if somebody moves in front of you, you can't get out of it fast enough or get slowed down to not either get into them or cause an accident.
But did your crew chief tell you right away, no sweat, don't worry about it?
No, I was just trying to figure out, I was like, what's happening there, and it was just because of how Daytona was with the weather, they weren't exactly 100% sure on how everything was going to play out. And I mean, I know that these restrictor plate races, as long as we're in the race, we got an opportunity to win it. And the big thing for me was just don't get worried about it. I've been patient enough to wait and watch them run 8 or 9 races already this season, so there's no reason to get in a hurry now.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Go to Bob, and then to Al.
Bob Parker, Sporting News. I know it was kind of a strange situation in California, but how nice is it, or do you feel like it will help you having raced already once this year before this event?
I think it's exponentially helpful. The first thing that it did is it gave me kind of a 400-mile test session to be able to go out there and to work and to get the cobwebs knocked off and find out, you know, a little bit about what Joe Gibbs Racing is like from the driver's seat, as opposed to the being hired but not driven a race yet type of thing. And you know, California is a place where a lot of things happen. It's a difficult racetrack, and you know, there's a lot of things that can happen. To jump in a car and not have any practice time in it, and to eventually, you know, we were within 30 laps to the end of the race, and either inside the top 10 or closing in on it, you know, real close there before we got punted, and you know, still came back and finished 17th. So, you know, not a lot of is expected out of you when you get into a situation like that. And I'm like, oh, top 20 be good. And then I'm like, top 15 be good. Yeah, I think we get the top 10 here. And, you know, I thought we were going to have, you know, probably a, you know, 5th to 8th place finish if we don't get, you know, run over on one of those restarts. And that to me, you know, just the confidence level that it brings into you and makes you feel good about. And it, you know, we're starting to get some other things that are happening. We've got a full test day at Iowa before I'm in the car next time, and I think that this weekend working out the way that it does with just having a little bit extra time to talk to everybody and to figure out exactly, you know, how the organization works, and getting to know your crew chief is a big thing. I mean, I think that we probably tested 2 or 3 times last year before we started the season to get used to a new crew chief. So, you know, talk about, you know, being thrown in the deep end, you know, just go out there and run at the racetrack. But I'm super excited about it. I take it however I can get it to, you know, to get into this car and to, you know, have the people around me like Joe Gibbs Racing and Monster Energy, and I mean, everybody's been really supportive. And every time I went to the shop, they're like, how many more races before you're going to run? You know, when is that again? And I was like, man, am I being like a pest, being at the shop too much? And then I'm like, well, I'm only coming once or twice a week, so that can't be the case right now. But it's been nice, and, you know, the group as a whole has been really good. And, man, they say patience is a virtue, and, you know, I feel like there's people that might have questioned my decision-making in doing this, but I feel like I couldn't be more blessed to have this opportunity.
Go Al, then we'll go over to Jetta. Go ahead, Al.
Yeah, Sam, Al Muskie from the Anniston Star. 2 things, hopefully quickly. You got the pole today in like the final minute of the session. When we were watching, that's what it looked like. Did you realize that it was that close to the buzzer? And is that what this format of qualifying is going to produce from here on through? And I got another one after that.
Well, for sure, when you go to the super speedways, Talladega, it's not going to be that way in the first couple sessions, but when you get down to that last session where it's really all about getting the pole, you're going to see people playing that waiting game and making sure that they're the last guy that has the big toe. And we knew that it's going to be close, and that's the thing that you really might back yourself into a corner if everything doesn't work out, if a yellow comes out and you haven't put that lap down. But in order to get the pole and to do it the right way, you have to be able to get a good toe and to try your best to not repay the favor to them.
And then the other thing, was there any plan that if you all three y'all got that close to the pole spot, that you know that they find a way to get it to you because of your circumstances, joining the team late, waiting, all of that stuff? It makes a neat little story because you waited so long. Was that part of the deal?
I don't believe that it was in anybody's mind to do that. I feel like the way that the circumstances worked out, that it gave me an opportunity to get a little bit of a better run. And I mean, we're talking about, you know, 10 or 12 inches one way or another, and it could be less than that. And when you're working with 3 cars, that middle car is kind of the buffer car. He can go, he's like caught in the accordion. And, you know, I feel like, you know, for me, it really is a little bit about me using some of the techniques about trying to stay with Elliott, a little bit about being, you know, in the middle section there, and a little bit of just maybe divine intervention to make me feel even better about the decision that I've made. If they had any kind of plan like that, they sure didn't tell me about it.
Jenna?
Jennifer, Sam, you talked a few questions ago about getting the cobwebs out and whatnot. Was it really like that? I mean, isn't it just like riding a bike, or did you really have some stuff to work out?
When I went through this similar type of situation in 2011, we ended up, winning a race, throughout that point in time, and we had some top 5 finishes, and I would say that was even more difficult because that team only ran when I ran the car. So you had the crew chief was only there, the tire guy, so it was a lot different than what I'm in now. I mean, when I'm not in the car, Kyle Busch is. So, I mean, they're getting tons of great information, so that really is a good thing. But as far as the driver goes, there's things like today, learning how this qualifying works out, and that was a little bit nerve-wracking for me because I'd never been through it before, and I'm trying to make sure that I do everything right so that it makes it easier for Bubba to stay attached to me, and he's, this is his first time doing it, and we're both relying on Elliott, so I think that was a good thing, but I wish that I could say that I've done more racing in the off time, but I haven't. I mean, I've done some go-karting and got to run 400, 400 miles out of California, and that's about it, and change a bunch of diapers. So, I mean, I feel like maybe that's the motivation to keep going out there and to do well. But there is a lot of things that you're just getting to know. The biggest thing is the interaction between myself and Adam, and I hope that we can use this as really a springboard to get going to Iowa and use the extra time there. And things have gone pretty good so far as our communication, but until you get driver in the car, spotter up on the spotter stand, and the crew chief sitting on the pit box, you don't know exactly how all those things play out together. And California didn't give me any insight as far as how that was going to work with Adam, but having the opportunity to work with Darian and the fact that I felt like we ran as good as we did and we had as good of a run late in the race, that just was a confidence builder of, all right, you haven't forgot everything that you know, and you've got good people around you, and you're putting good equipment, so just enjoy the times when you get to go out there and run.
Final question back there, Chris.
First night NASCAR Wire Service. Just curious, what will it take to win tomorrow, and what would it mean to you to be able to win in your first start for JGR Nationwide?
It'll take some good teammates is probably going to be the biggest thing. It'll be patience amongst our teammates to be able to do that. And we don't have to go out there and lead every lap. We just have to position ourselves well after the last pit stop. And there's a certain amount of luck that's involved here, but when you sit down and really think about the things and the tools that I have to work with, the JGR cars were the fastest in two of the sessions today in qualifying, so we know that we've got great Toyota horsepower. The cars are handling pretty good, and a lot of it's going to be up to Elliott, myself, and Bubba to be able to go out there and to do the right things tomorrow, and also be lucky enough to not have somebody else make a mistake around us and keep us from being able to win the race.
Have you talked to Kyle at all this weekend?
I haven't talked to him this weekend. It's his birthday today, so maybe he might be having a birthday party, I don't know. But I've talked to Kyle a little bit throughout the beginning of the season here, with some of the races that I went to, Daytona, Bristol, California, things like that. And it's been great, and everybody over there has told me that Kyle was really excited to have me be filling in on the races that he doesn't run, and that means a lot to me because he's obviously so successful, and he's done the flying around back and forth before, and he's definitely more than capable of going out there and doing it. To have him excited about me being in the car means a lot to me, and I hope he's excited about it when we get to Miami and hopefully put ourselves up there on the stage as far as the champions table or whatever. Would be great.
Thanks.
What do you call the baby?
What do I call the baby?
As a Sam?
I gotta be really nice about how I say this. The whole Sam thing, my wife was pretty adamant that he'd be named Samuel. And I said, well, you know, how about we give him a different middle name or something? Just because, I don't know, I guess that I'm really proud of my name, but on the other hand, I don't know that he'll always be proud of it. So, you know, it was one of those things. Plus, the first time that my wife goes, hey, Sammy, or something like that, or my mom says Sammy, like, I mean, I'm still Sammy when my dad's around most of the time, so it just becomes confusing for me, because if somebody says Sammy, I'm like, what? And she's like, oh, no, I'm talking to the baby. I'm like, this is exactly what I was talking about. But, no, he's, we call him, he's been called Sammy, he's been called SJ, SJ3. I can't remember what my mom had some name for him that was pretty funny, but he's been a pretty good baby so far, and his sisters love having him around. So, and they call me Sammy a lot of the time too. So it gets confusing at our house. My oldest daughter, that's all she called me for probably 2 years, and then when she shortened it to Sam, she had to start calling me Dad. And Sammy was really cute. Sam is just kind of like, no, I'm not that. We're not that way yet. All right,
Sam, congratulations.
Thank you.
On the Coors Light Bowl, and it's great to see you up here, and good luck tomorrow.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.